Teacup tub. Teacup tub. Wow. Hi and welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. Today we're diving into Peacock's original limited horror series, Teacup. And man, this was a wild ride. Before we get into that, I just want to say thank you for joining me for this review. Your time is valuable and I appreciate your ears and your eyeballs. So it's spooky month and I've got a wonderful treat for you. It's a thrilling ride and you're not going to forget this anytime soon. So let's jump in. Now, when I first heard about Teacup, I thought, okay, cool. Another book adaptation. Let's see what it brings to the table. But here's the thing. The book barely influences the series at all. They took the concept and threw it into a blender and went, you know what? Let's just try and make something completely different. If you've read the source material, you'll feel like this story is almost unrecognizable. And to be honest, I'm okay with that. Because what Teacup does is create its own identity, and man, does it lean into the mystery and horror in ways that will make you go, oh, but it'll also make you think about shows that you've seen before, like Lost, From, and even Under the Dome. And in the classic horror sort of sense of things, The Thing, or the more psychological sci-fi Annihilation. If you're a fan of these shows, you know the drill. Mysterious small towns, strange occurrences, and a feeling that the world is just a little bit off. Teacup taps into that in such an effective way. The whole time you're questioning what's real, what's supernatural, sci-fi-ish, and what's just plain psychological terror. It's the kind of series that leaves you scratching your head and asking yourself, what just happened at the end of every episode? Now, if we talk about the actors, Teacup has a fantastic cast that really pulls you into this eerie world. You got some standout performances here, especially from the leads. Female lead you will recognize from Dexter and Chuck. She delivers this quiet intensity that grips you. And then there's Scott Speedman as the husband. Their relationship is strained even before shit hits the fan. This dynamic works well to heighten the intensity on screen. Speedman is trying to deal with a broken marriage while trying to deal with the literal horrors his family is now faced with. The chemistry between the cast feels natural, which is a huge plus when the story hinges on this claustrophobic, we're all trapped in this weird town vibe. Some of the actors have to play variants of their own personalities without going into spoilers. From young to old, they all have to show their acting chops, and I think they pull it off brilliantly. Okay, so it's a horror limited series, so we need to talk about the horror. You kind of know when you're getting when James Wan is attached as an executive producer. It's going to have that air and flavor that we're used to from him. The guy knows how to do horror. The tension builds so well, and when the gore comes out, it's very gruesome. But it's not over the top. It's more of a slow burn kind of horror, which I think works really well for this. There are some jump scares there, but what really creeps under your skin is the psychological dread. You've got some gnarly scenes that'll have you squirming, but it's the sense of unease that sticks with you after the episode ends, and Wan's influence is all over that. Each episode has this consistent tone, but with enough variety to keep you guessing. It never feels like they're repeating themselves, which is a tough balance in a limited series. Each episode ranges from a short 30 minutes to just under an hour depending on the episode, which is impressive when you think about it. They went in knowing how much story to tell for each episode, and if that meant a longer or shorter runtime, they went with it. So many networks require their writers and directors to stick to that 45-minute mark, which can take some of the creativity out of the process. Here, it feels like freedom is given to that creative process, and it shows. They take their time with the atmosphere, letting the town itself become a character. The cinematography is just as gorgeous and unsettling at the same time. You've got these wide shots that make you feel isolated, but also claustrophobic when they zoom in on the details. The gore shots feel real and otherworldly at the same time. It's like a Stephen King novel brought to life visually. Even though the book's influence on the story is so minimal, when you get the gore, it's visually striking and disturbing, and yet you get to see it when it is needed for that particular scene to heighten it rather than embellish it. It's never that voyeuristic sort of sense that we get in some body horror shows or TV series. But let's not forget about the score. The score was haunting and it really adds to the mystery. It reminded me a lot of Lost in how it uses sound to create this feeling of dread but also wonder, like you're on the edge of discovering something huge, only for the reveal to mess with your head even more. I love when the score feels like it's character in the story, and Teacup absolutely hits this right. The whole sense of dread is carried with the score. But I want to move on from the score and talk about the soundtrack, which is often not talked about. There is a particular song for each episode at the end credits of each episode. These songs are different in tone and frequently contrast the vibe of the particular episode that you're watching. What you've just witnessed sometimes goes in contrast with the end credits song, but the song's theme is usually foreshadowing of what is to come or what you have just witnessed. It's using the end credits creatively, and I applaud that. So many shows don't use all of the time that they've got, and I really like it when creators do this. So overall, Teacup isn't perfect. There's a few pacing issues here and there, and the final episode may leave some people a little frustrated with how many questions it leaves unanswered. But man, is it a compelling watch. If you love Lost for its mystery, From for its horror, Under the Dome for its small town gone weird vibe, you're gonna have a great time with Teacup. I just had a massive smile on my face while watching. Sometimes I'm just happy something is good, and Teacup is just that. Good. It is a limited series, and as such not all questions are answered, but enough were so that I was satisfied with what we got. So yeah, I'm going with 4 out of 5 Nicolas Cages for me.
You got one.
It's creepy, it's mysterious, and it's got some solid scares that may keep you up at night. Thanks for watching the Ruby Tuesday, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want more reviews like this one. Until the next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.